My name is Brandon Cole. I'm 32 years old, born and raised in Oklahoma City. I work as a mechanic grease under the nails. Busted knuckles, the hum of engines, I live for it. There's something pure about fixing what's broken. It gives me peace. Or at least it used to. I was never much for religion. I mean, sure, I believed in God. I wasn't out there burning Bibles or mocking Jesus. But let's just say he wasn't part of my daily routine. I'd send a prayer up when life hit the fan. But that was about it. Like a lot of guys, I figured believing was enough. I had more important things to worry about. Rent, work, my truck, keeping the demons of my past at bay. And then there were the tattoos. Each one told a story. The flame skull on my shoulder was a drunken dare at 18. The black serpent coiling down my forearm, that was my don't mess with me phase after a nasty breakup. The angel wings on my back, I got those after my buddy Jason died in a motorcycle crash. I never told anyone, but I hoped they'd somehow protect me. Over the years, the ink added up just like the regrets. People often stared. Some admired them. Others judged. And deep down, I judged myself too. There was always this gnawing thought, did I mess up my body beyond repair? What does God think of me now? The guilt was subtle, like a dull ache I carried every day. Last year, I decided to get healthy. I'd been feeling sluggish, and after my mom's heart scare, I knew I had to change. I started jogging in the mornings, nothing serious. But on one particular morning in May, something happened that changed everything. It was around 6:45 a.m., already warm, the Oklahoma sun rising like fire behind the trees. I was jogging near Lake Hefner, earbuds in, pushing myself harder than usual. I remember feeling this tightness in my chest, like someone had tied a rope around my lungs. I slowed, thinking maybe I just overdid it, but the tightness turned to pain, sharp and spreading down my left arm. I stumbled onto the grass and dropped to my knees. People talk about seeing their life flash before their eyes. I didn't. What I saw was my own arm, tattooed and trembling, and the panic in my breath. I tried to call out, but no sound came. The world around me began to dim, like someone was turning down the volume and the light at the same time. Then everything went black. Only I didn't stay there. I became aware of something more. Not pain, not fear, just awareness. I was floating above myself. I could see my own body lying there on the grass, motionless, like an empty shell. I should have been terrified, but I wasn't. There was this overwhelming peace. And then everything shifted. The world around me faded, replaced by light not harsh or blinding, but soft, warm, and alive. It wrapped around me like a memory I'd forgotten, but longed to return to. In that place, I felt known. Completely, totally known. And then I saw him. There was no introduction. I didn't need one. The moment I saw him, I knew who he was. Jesus. Not the Sunday school picture version, not the crucifix, but real, radiant, love pouring out of him like light from the sun. But it wasn't just what I saw, it was what I felt. I had never felt more seen or more exposed. And my first thought, it wasn't awe, it was shame. I looked down at my arms, expecting to see the tattoos. And I did, every line, every symbol. But now they seemed darker, heavier, like they carried a weight beyond the ink. I tried to cover them. I tried to hide. He looked at me with eyes that held galaxies and yet felt like home. And then he said, "Why do you hide what I already see?" I couldn't answer. Tears welled up, though I don't even know if I had a body to cry with. But the shame I'd carried for years came flooding to the surface. Not just the tattoos, but what they represented. My rebellion, my pride, my pain. I whispered, "I'm sorry. I thought these would keep you away. What he did next will stay with me forever." He reached out and gently touched my arm. And in that moment, the tattoos faded, not burned, not erased, just gently dissolved like dust in the wind. And beneath them, I saw something shining. Light. Me. The real me. He smiled and said, "These stories are not who you are. You are more than the marks you bear." I stood there, wherever there was, staring at my arms that now radiated light instead of ink. It wasn't just that the tattoos had vanished. It was that, for the first time in my life, I felt clean, whole, like a weight I didn't even know I was carrying had fallen off. But the look in Jesus' eyes wasn't just compassion, it was truth. Like he saw through every excuse, every mask, every half-hearted attempt at goodness I ever made. He didn't flinch. He didn't look away. His love wasn't cheap. It was fierce. "I've watched you for a long time, Brandon," he said, and the sound of his voice seemed to echo inside my chest. "Even when you thought I wasn't there." Memories began to rise, moments I hadn't thought of in years. The night I ran away from home at 16 after fighting with my stepdad. The time I sat alone in my truck after my girlfriend left, feeling like I was nothing. The years I lived recklessly, burning bridges, burying guilt in adrenaline and alcohol. All of it came rushing in, and in each memory, I saw something I hadn't seen before. He was there, a presence in the corner of the room, a whisper when I was about to go too far, a peace I couldn't explain after nearly crashing my bike at 19. I thought I'd been lucky. I wasn't lucky. I was loved. He stepped closer, and the surroundings changed again. Suddenly, we were in what felt like a vast, open space, not heaven as I imagined it, with harps and clouds, but more like a place where souls are seen. Transparent, honest, eternal, a place where truth lived without fear. And then I saw it, a kind of mirror suspended in the air before me. Only it wasn't glass, it was more like light frozen in place. Jesus gestured toward it gently. "This is what you believed about yourself." I looked in. At first, I saw myself as I was back on Earth. Grease-stained shirt, arms inked, weathered face, tired eyes. But then the image began to change. My reflection twisted, my shoulders slumped, my expression turned bitter, then numb. I saw shame. I saw guilt. I saw a man who believed he'd never truly be clean. A man who thought his past defined him. And then Jesus placed his hand on my shoulder. "Now let me show you what I created." The mirror shimmered, and the image changed. I gasped. What I saw next wasn't a version of me I had ever imagined. The man staring back at me was radiant, not in an arrogant, superhero kind of way, but in a peaceful, unshakable, joyful way. His eyes were kind. His smile was gentle. He bore no tattoos, no scars, no shadows. He was whole. "That is who you are in me," Jesus said, "not because of what you've done, but because of what I've done for you." I dropped to my knees. I couldn't speak. I didn't have words, just tears. Real, holy, healing tears. All the years of pretending, all the armor I'd built up in my soul had cracked, and in its place came something I hadn't felt since I was a kid sitting in Sunday school with my mom. Hope. Jesus lifted me up not by force, but like a father helping his child stand again. "Brandon," he said, "your story isn't finished." I blinked, confused. "What do you mean?" He turned his gaze upward, and suddenly I could see the world. Not like a globe or a map, but like real places, real people. My neighborhood, the garage I worked in, my mom's house, the diner where I got coffee every Sunday morning. It was as if I was being reminded of what I was leaving behind. "There are people waiting for your voice," he said. "They need to know that grace isn't reserved for the perfect." I felt a pull in my spirit, a longing to return, even though every part of me also wanted to stay. The peace I felt here was like nothing on earth. But I knew, somehow, my story wasn't just for me. And then Jesus added, "Tell them they're not their scars. Tell them they are not their past. Tell them the ink fades, but my love remains." I wish I could say I responded to Jesus with something poetic or profound, but all I could manage was, "I don't deserve this." His reply? A soft chuckle. "No one does. That's why it's called grace." And just like that, I understood. All those years I carried my sins like boulders on my back, trying to balance the scale, try and be good enough for God. But it was never about that. He wasn't tallying points. He wanted my heart, not my perfection. And the shame I had wrapped around my tattoos was never from him. That shame was the enemy's voice, not my Savior's. I stood with Jesus in that realm of light, not knowing how long I'd been there. Time didn't seem to exist the way it does on earth. It was like I had stepped into eternity where all that mattered was love, truth, and being fully known. But then I felt something shift, a tension, a pulling sensation deep in my chest. Jesus looked at me, and there was a flicker of sorrow in his eyes. It's time. My heart dropped. I don't want to leave. I admitted. He stepped closer and placed a hand over my heart. You'll carry this moment with you forever, and you won't go alone. I'll be with you every breath, every stumble, every sunrise. I nodded, though everything inside me screamed to stay. Stay in the light, stay in the warmth, stay where I was clean and whole. But I remember what he said. There are people waiting for your voice. And so I surrendered. As he stepped back, the light around us began to swell and pulse, like waves of energy ready to carry me away. My vision blurred, and a strange sensation spread to me like being pulled backward through warm water, gently but rapidly. That's when the pain hit. It slammed into me like a freight train, my chest on fire, my lungs screaming, my skin cold and wet with morning dew. I gasped. I heard voices, sirens, the blare of an ambulance, someone shouting, "He's back!" We got a pulse. I opened my eyes to a blur of sunlight and EMTs leaning over me, faces tense with urgency. "Brandon, can you hear me?" one of them said. I tried to nod, tried to speak. All I managed was a whisper. "Jesus?" They must have thought I was delirious. Maybe I was. But in that moment, I wasn't afraid. I wasn't confused. I knew exactly where I had been and who had sent me back. I spent 2 nights in the ICU. They said it was a sudden cardiac arrhythmia, likely genetic, and were shocked I survived. Most don't. I didn't tell them everything. Not at first. How could I explain that I had seen Jesus? That my tattoos vanished before my eyes, and I saw a mirror of my soul? But over the next few weeks, something changed inside me. The bitterness was gone. The restlessness. I started waking up with purpose. I looked at people differently. I looked at myself differently. One Sunday morning, I did something I hadn't done in over 15 years. I walked into a church. Not because I had to, because I wanted to. I sat in the back, quietly weeping as the choir sang about grace. And when the pastor asked if anyone needed prayer, I raised my hand, tattoos and all. After service, an older woman with kind eyes approached me and said, "You have a testimony, don't you?" I smiled through tears. Yeah, and it's just beginning. That week, I started sharing my story first with close friends, then with others. I posted a video online. I got messages from people I hadn't seen in years. Some mocked, some questioned, but most said the same thing. I thought God couldn't love someone like me. And every time I told them the same truth Jesus told me. You are more than the marks you bear. You are more than your past. You are not your ink, you are his. It's been a year since I died. That's still strange to say. Sometimes it feels like a dream too beautiful, too impossible. But then I look at my life now, and I know it was real. The man I used to be is gone. In his place stands someone I barely recognize, but for the first time, truly love. I didn't remove my tattoos. People ask me that a lot. They assume I must have lasered them off after what I saw. But no, I kept them. Not out of pride, out of testimony. Because now, each mark has a different meaning. The flaming skull, that's the story of how I used rebellion to mask my brokenness. The serpent, a symbol of who I used to let speak into my life. The wings, a tribute not just to my friend, but to the truth that I now carry light inside me. These tattoos no longer carry shame, they carry redemption. And when someone sees them and says, "You don't look like the church-going type," I smile and tell them, I'm not. I'm the grace-receiving type. I've spoken at youth groups, recovery centers, even a few churches that never thought twice about inviting someone like me. At first, I was nervous. What would they think? Would the suits and ties judge the grease on my hands and the ink on my arms? But every time I tell my story, something happens. Tears, nods, that silent gasp when I describe Jesus touching my arm and making the tattoos fade. One night, after I shared my testimony at a men's group, a guy named Trent came up to me. He was maybe 25, tough-looking, arms covered in even more ink than me. His eyes were red. He said, I was going to take my life tonight. I thought I'd already screwed it all up. But then you said Jesus touched you anyway. Even with all that, I put a hand on his shoulder. Especially with all that. He nodded, hugged me, and we prayed. He gave his life to Christ that night. That's when I realized why Jesus sent me back. Not just to do better, or go to church, or fix my habits, but to become a living story of grace. To let others know they aren't too far gone. That the Father doesn't look at the ink on your skin, he sees the story etched on your heart. And maybe, just maybe, he wants to write a new chapter. I still work at the garage. Still drink too much coffee. Still forget birthdays. I'm not perfect, but I've been changed. Every morning, I sit in my truck before work and whisper the same prayer. Thank you for letting me come back. Let me carry your light today. And every so often, when the shop gets quiet and the world slows down, I feel it, that same warmth, that presence, that peace that once wrapped around me in the place beyond time. I know he's with me. I know I'll see him again. And when I do, I'll lift these arms tattoos and all and run into the embrace of the one who said, You are more than the marks you bear. You are mine,